What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sip-Off, where we have drinks and we talk all things basketball. We got a jam-packed show for you because it is the playoffs in the NBA right now. It's college free agency now. I'm definitely going to talk on a couple of those topics. And we had some breaking news earlier, so let me go ahead and get my guests in, and then we will get started. First, I got Detroit Dom. What's up, Dom?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Oh, just waiting on this Lakers Dubs game. I've actually watched a whole bunch of playoff hockey, and it has been goddamn motherfucking entertaining.
It has. Now, I am not much of a hockey fan, but I have watched a few games this playoffs. It's been good. So I'm definitely. Yeah. My boss at the radio station was like, "You jinxed yourself," because I started watching the Kraken, and I was like, "Oh, I like that."
Yes, love the Kraken.
Now they're playing the Stars, and I'm like,
I just like that electric seaweed in their uniforms.
That color that they have. Yeah, no, I like that color. I actually like that they share an arena with the WNBA. I think that's cool. Like, try and cross promote and whatever they need to do to help get the WNBA out there more. I love it. So if the NHL is willing to work with the WNBA, I love that. So that's kind of why I like them. Oh,
just think they could get an NBA team back and all save.
I'm not sure who you are. I don't know why it does this. If you'll go to my page and comment on my page, I guess like whenever the feed is to one of the groups, for some reason it does that. I apologize. All right, let me go ahead and get our next guest. We got Will Vogel. What's up, Will?
Man, it's been a busy last 2 weeks. Busy craziness. Last Thursday through Sunday, I was in Charleston. My brother had his wedding to his wife, beautiful wife, awesome wife. If you're watching this, Peter and Katya, I don't know if you ever do, but shout out.
What's up? Look, we got a couple of extra. Oh, she's so
Tyler
sweet.
Beverly. Oh my God. And then I went to the golf tournament in Charlotte today. But man, the youngest co-host in Sip-Off history now.
That is correct. That is correct. She's sleepy.
She looks like 2% like you.
Yes, she does look just like that.
This? Did you know he was coming on? Was this a surprise?
I did. No, I did.
Oh my God. I love it. It reminds
we're so excited to have you back. So before the baby takes over, is there anything about basketball playoffs that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that I'm loving it. I'm loving like the upsets that have been happening. Well, some of them I don't really consider upsets. Like I don't consider the Lakers beating the Grizzlies an upset. I don't consider Golden State beating the Kings an upset. But like Miami, for example, I mean, even with Giannis that goes down for 2 games, they still step up. It shows a lot about Eric Spoelstra as a coach, what he's gotten out of all these guys. Because I know, and Dom knows this too, like I'm a big, Jimmy Butler fan too. He was with my Bulls, so I'm gonna support buckets, and But and that's actually my favorite series out of the ones remaining. I love that Knicks Heat series. I think that's money.
Right.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the playoffs. I think some of these coach firings that happened today, I know we'll talk about that later. A little surprising to me, just based off of, like, what have you done for me lately kind of firings, more so than anything. Like, So they're a little alarming to me, to be honest. Like the Nick Nurse one really surprised me. Not even the Budenholzer one, but the Nick Nurse one really surprised me, especially because like he did. Yeah, see, I really think so too.
He's trying to decide if she's a Bulls fan or not. I was hoping when she first snatched it that she was just going to throw it.
She might not be. Who knows, man? Maybe she'll grow up to be a Heat fan or something.
Oh, no, I won't allow it. Kennedy wore a Texans shirt around here, and I was like, get that shit out of here.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. And I heard Dom speaking about the NHL playoffs. I've been really enjoying that, too. I mean,
what's
crazy about the NHL.
All these overtime games,
And what's so crazy about the NHL is it does not matter what seed you are.
I was just about to say.
It doesn't. And you know
I didn't
what's
even notice
crazy?
till like a few days ago. Did you guys see how they redid the playoff format?
Our mutual friend,
I did.
JB Ellis.
Like by division, like that's dope.
Our
Hold on,
friend
let Will talk real quick.
Our friend JB Ellis said something the other day, and I said, JB, you are so right. Thank you for saying this on the show. This is the best time of year. You got like 12 MLB games a day. You got NBA playoffs, and you got NHL playoffs. What more can you ask for?
Right. Well, the Budenholzer one, I'm not too surprised by because I think like the championship that they got. Now, don't get me wrong, they were like 2 seasons removed from being champions. So like once the new champion is put in, they're actually two in between. But like that, and that's not that far ago. But I think like that championship really saved his job because had they not won that championship, I think he would have been out then. Like he just does not adjust well. Now he did in that particular series against Phoenix. Like it was the only time I ever seen him adjust in his entire career. So I don't know if it was like in spite of Budenholzer or hey Everly. We love it. I love it. That's hilarious. But the Nick Nurse one really surprised me, which I know they've not come back season, you know
where they're both gonna go.
Crazy.
I don't know. Whoever picks up Nick Nurse, to me, like whoever picks up Nick Nurse, they got to steal. Like to me, I love what he does. He's not necessarily a
Charlotte
players coach.
Steve Clifford for me. Please fire Steve Clifford.
You replaced Casey, right?
I mean, if we're all throwing it in there, I'll replace Billy Donovan with Nick Nurse any day. So.
I'm not a big Billy Donovan fan either. I don't know if y'all have replaced Casey yet. I'm not sure about that.
I'm saying Nick Nurse replaced Casey in Toronto, right?
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And he got Coach of the Year there, too.
He's a better coach than anyone else.
I'm going to give you to your mom. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. And so then also, I'm kind of critical of what Taylor has going on over there in Memphis, to be honest. Now I know that when all the
I agree.
When all the drama popped off with Ja, my thought was he needs guidance. And I saw some people talking about, they need some veterans on there. Well, okay, they had Danny Green on there. He's a veteran. He's a champion. They had Steven Adams on there. He's a veteran. And with a lot of heart, like he definitely stands for something. So he's going to be somebody that can lead you on the court and off the court as well, just kind of by his presence. He's not going to be like the most dominant player out there, but I think his presence, you would probably listen, right? I mean, it's the Cro-Magnon man,
Good.
You should listen.
I was just going to say Cro-Magnon man.
Megan.
But to me, it's like, hold on one second. But to me, it's like, okay, well, it starts at the top. Leadership starts at the top. And so everyone's critical of Ja, critical of Ja's dad. But to me, it was way more than just Ja. It was what was going on with Dylan Brooks. It was, it was a lot of things going on over there that I was really disappointed with. And to me, that says that, Taylor is a little too giving with his players, just as far as, not making them respect you. Because I guarantee that type of stuff would not happen in San Antonio. Now, we're not winning anything lately, so I don't want to act like we are, but Pop's not putting up with that, though. So
I'll be right back.
Those are my thoughts on that. Okay.
Ja needs to not be in Memphis, or he needs a handler.
What do we think about what they said?
The seedy underbelly of Memphis are all wrong for him. Like, he's not cut out for that.
It's a rough place. I know that. It's a real rough place. And so
stay home and build a basketball court at your house and work on that jumper, Ja, before you end up being the next D Rose.
Like if it was DeMar in Memphis, I would say he's fine. You know what I mean? Even though like DeMar comes from rough beginnings, I would say he's level-headed enough to deal with a place like Memphis. But someone that's young and doesn't have the best guidance, like what Ja has going on, he's going to be doing the most, and we see the repercussions of that. So I'm a little. I thought that Taylor Jenkins.
He's so good.
He is good. No, he is good. And Taylor Jenkins is a good coach on the court. But what's going on in your locker room and afterwards, like all these disturbances, like I don't rock with it. Like it wouldn't happen in San Antonio. So that's usually what I base it off of. But let's run through real quick about the way the first round went. Let's see. So we saw obviously Golden State and Kings ended in Game 7. Was it the only one that went to a Game 7? Yes, I believe so. So I actually had the Kings picked to win that game. And it didn't work out that way. They ended up getting beat by 20 points. Did anybody think the Kings were beating Golden State besides me?
No. I told y'all they were not going to win that series. Shout out to the Kings for taking it to 7 games, though.
I mean,
I like that team a lot.
I think I'm trying to wish it into existence more than anything. Like when the series first got announced, I thought like Golden State was going to kind of breeze through them. But then when I saw the Kings won the first 2 games, I was like, oh shit, maybe they got a shot in this after all. So I was trying to wish it into existence. So it's like, it's 50-50. Like I picked the Kings, but like I kind of didn't pick the Kings. That's kind of where I'm at with that one. I definitely
won
some Lakers series.
2 road games that series, didn't they? Or just one?
They did. No, they won 2 road games.
Yeah.
We're talking about Golden State and Sacramento.
I had
they could have beat a lot of other teams in the playoffs in that first round.
What did you say, Don?
I said Sacramento could have beat a lot of other teams in that first round, but Golden State was not one of them.
I can understand that. What if they would have got the Lakers? You think they could have beat the Lakers?
They would have beaten the Lakers.
Could have, but the script writers are not having that.
So there's really a script writers. All right. Will, what do you think about the Golden State Kings series?
I think it proves I originally had Golden State in 6, but keyword big but pause. I did not mean to say that. Proves the Kings are going to be good for years. You got Sabonis, you got Fox, you have Monk, you have Murray, you have a good young culture. I think that team, I wouldn't be surprised, can make the playoffs and get better and better each year. So yeah, look out for
Harrison Barnes plays defense over there.
And I mean, I got to be honest too with the Kings.
I said that before the series started. I said that's the only way. Oh, sorry, Ty, real quick. I was like, the only way Sacramento's winning that series is if Harrison Barnes somehow gets a dagger. Not even in Game 7, but like if he hits a game winner, you know what I mean?
They're going to be in the playoffs next year. I guarantee it.
I just want to give some kudos to Mike Brown, man. Everyone laughed at that hire. I mean, when they hired Mike Brown, everyone laughed at that hire. They thought that he was going to be the worst fit for him. So, like, he bet on himself all season, and he got the most out of that team. I give a lot of credit to Mike Brown this whole season. He kept them afloat throughout the whole
proving he's a better coach than anyone thought he was.
Well, and I mean, so this is his 2nd Coach of the Year award. So it's not like, and so I'm surprised when people were doubtful of that. I was like, oh man, I knew they were going to have a high powered offense. Like when I saw that Mike Brown got hired, I was like, oh, that offense is going to be right. I think the biggest, well, obviously, I mean, they had to get rid of Gentry, but I think one of the biggest moves for them was moving Halliburton to Indiana, because like they were sharing minutes. It was literally the same position. They're both the same caliber of player, in my opinion, and so they had to share that, and it just didn't work out. Sharing minutes just didn't work out.
I wish the Pistons had that problem.
This one to me,
you used to.
This one to me is a lot for Mike Brown, because like that first Coach of the Year, everyone thought LeBron kind of carried him to that Coach of the Year.
True.
You know, because that was peak LeBron, and they won, 66 games that season or whatnot, or 60 games that year. So I was really impressed with this one. To run through the West, to hold on to a 2 seed all year, and honestly, they didn't waver. Like, they didn't go into a slump in which they were losing games. They would stay consistent. They would lose one night, they would win 3 nights after. They would lose one night, they would win 5 games after. So, yeah, shout out Mike Brown for sure.
Okay, so let's talk the Grizzlies Lakers real quick. Just how that ended up wrapping up. It was in 6 games. This was the 2-7 series. Now I know you said you weren't surprised, that you don't really feel like it was an upset. I guess just because of the caliber team that we know the Lakers can be. But we didn't see it most of the year. We saw it like the last 3 weeks of the season, maybe the last month of the season. But LeBron wasn't there for half of that. Like he was injured, and that was AD just managing to stay healthy and carry the team. Now, but also, I think one of the biggest additions for the Lakers was obviously moving on from Russ and picking up Hashimura from the Wizards. Like Hashimura is such a great fit for them. I don't like the D'Lo pickup whatsoever, but I'm also not a fan of D'Lo. But it just always seems like drama with him. It's always drama with him. Like Minnesota was starting to kind of figure things out last season. Now they shouldn't have got Gobert, but like I think he gave up on Minnesota too soon. Like I think he should have like stuck that out and been like, let's move Gobert, let's figure it out, because he was running point over in Minnesota pretty well. Now you come over to the Lakers and I don't know, I still don't think he's fitting the best. So anyway, either one of y'all take it.
No. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, I was never a fan of the D'Lo pickup. Like when that came to fruition, I kind of think like some of these things, like I'll be honest, like I saw LeBron's comment about Reeves, like a couple weeks ago when he said he knew that he was going to be like, come on, I call cap on that, LeBron. I know you're going to stick up for your guy, but I don't think a lot of people really thought Austin Reeves was just going to come on like he did towards the end of the season going into the playoffs.
No, I don't think anybody knew that was coming. I
like the guy. Don't get me wrong. Like I like him as a player, but still like, I think they were kind of overhyping that. Yeah, I still picked the Grizzlies to win this series. I thought they were going to win it in 7. I thought this was going to be a long series, and I thought the Grizzlies, they were going to, hold up a little bit more. But like you said, I think the Lakers, it's not an upset to me. Like, to me, when they played each other, that it felt like a 4 versus 5 to me. It didn't feel like a 7 versus a 2, Because I think another thing is, like, Memphis, like, that we don't talk about is Memphis is a good team. But do you believe in Memphis when they go to the playoffs? Because that's always been my kind of issue with the Grizzlies. Like,
well, for me with the Grizzlies, not to go like finish the whole thing, but they knocked the Spurs out a couple of years. But that was like Vince Carter, Mike Conley, those days, Zach Randolph. Couple of them like that was those days, and they knocked us out of the playoffs a few times. Obviously they're in our division, so it was just kind of a rivalry for us, and I think like it go
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Anytime you got Vince Carter on the team, you got a chance. I don't care how old he is.
Listen, I gotta find it and send it to y'all. I saw it earlier. It was like a Facebook reel or some shit. Vince dunking like in the last like 10 days, like 46-year-old Vince Carter. And he got up. Like he was up and he yammed it.
When there was all that drama and everybody was talking about Vince Carter should just retire because he was taking up space, like a roster spot, like they were just giving it to him out of his name. No, you 19 and 20-year-olds were getting your roster spot beat by Vince Carter. That's what I feel like.
He earned so much of my respect those last 10 years that he hung on. I did not know he loved the game that much.
So I'm gonna agree with JJ on that comment too. Partly because he said he thinks the only team that can actually bang with the Lakers is Denver. I actually think Denver. Like I told Cliff this. You guys know, obviously Cliff is supporting his Knicks through this, but I told Cliff like when the playoffs started, I said I think it's gonna be Nuggets Celtics finals because I look at the whole roster of things when the playoffs hit. Like it's hard for me to just go, oh, that team's gonna go far when they only have starters. Right. You're not looking on all those extra minutes. You're not looking on these long series when you go 6-7 games. Those role players are going to come into play. That's why like Dallas beat Miami when they had the big three that first year. Dallas was deep, and I think Denver is just so deep. Like with the Grizzlies, you're depending on Tillman to come off the bench and do something.
Right. Well, at the time, like whenever they maintained when they maintained the 2 seed, they had Brandon Clark, they had Steven Adams, and so they had some size and they had some defense in the lane. And that's what I said. Like I felt like Memphis could be without Ja, but I don't think they can be without that size.
You know what?
Certain matchup, and obviously that was the case.
And I was going to relay the same thing, Megan. They were missing that size to guard Anthony Davis, the Rui Hachimuras, the big guys on the Lakers roster. And they didn't have that. And Dylan Brooks, of course, didn't show up because he only averaged, I want to say, 12 points per game, maybe even a little less. And he shot horrific. Like, you know what would make me laugh if next year, because the Grizzlies have already reported, we're not bringing him back. If the Lakers were like, hey, LeBron, guess what? We brought back a face all too well. One of the bumps to join the veteran leader, the veteran squad of the Lakers. I wouldn't be surprised. He was like, guess what? You may not like this guy, but he may be able to help us slightly on the bench. But, yeah, they were definitely missing the big man for sure. That's what really hurt them. And they relied, like, Bane did his own. Bane played pretty well. But
Bane played
they
well.
were definitely outmatched.
Okay, so was anybody surprised by the Knicks Cavaliers series?
No.
I was.
No, not at all.
Cavs are fake.
I was actually.
Okay.
I
felt like the Knicks were going to come on top, but I thought it would go longer. Like I thought it was going to be a longer series than what it was.
I actually, no offense, don't get me wrong, I don't like Brunson because I've met him in person. He was kind of mean to me, but he's a great player.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly had Cavs in 7 because you have Mobley, you have Allen, you have Garland, you have Mitchell. But you know what?
I'm not giving Mobley any credit anymore. That dude is soft as shit.
Why? You know who I was disappointed this season in the Cavs? I was disappointed in Jarrett Allen. And I love Jarrett Allen. Like he's UT alum. Like he's such a likable guy. But this entire season, like it just was like, where's Jarrett? Like
if I'm Cavs fan,
you know what?
Is like
credit.
If I'm a Cavs fan, I'm giving
an early 2000s Clippers
to Mobley
team.
every time I see him.
You know what? Real quick, let me say something real quick though. Big credit to the Knicks. Brunson's leaving off what he did last year with Dallas. You got Randall, you have Robinson, and Josh Hart. The addition of Josh Hart was huge because number one.
Did you guys see his braids
about on the show
the Yankees logo? Fire.
But listen to me real quick. The huge thing was you have someone who's familiar with Brunson because they were college teammates, and the guy is not going to say guaranteed, but almost guaranteed 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when he was in New Orleans, I liked him in New Orleans, and then switched over to Portland. I was like, hey, that's the one person in Portland. That was the one person in Portland that was playing defense was Josh Hart. And then whenever Coach Tipp picked him up,
the Lakers, sure. Right? Maybe wasn't he a Laker?
The league is just better when the Knicks are relevant. I've said this for like 20 years.
You said what?
I said the league is just better when the Knicks are relevant. It's like as much as I hate to say it, it's like the foreskins in the NFL.
It's okay. I'm sure he'll be back. If not, I mean, he did 25 minutes. No biggie.
Yep.
So, okay, moving on to round 2. Obviously, I guess let's talk about, before we get to the round 2, let's talk about Miami and Milwaukee. What do y'all think happened with that series?
I think
we'll start us off, and then Tyler, and then you, Don.
You know what? Jimmy Butler was him. He was Himmy Butler, as someone said in our chat. He was him. He was Himmy Butler. Also, when Giannis got hurt, I didn't say it was over, but you know what? You can tell the last maybe 2 games when the game Giannis came back, Giannis was in so much pain. You could tell he wasn't playing as well as he could have. I think a healthy Giannis would have stretched it to 7, but you know what? Jimmy Butler did his thing. Gabe Vincent has played pretty well. You got Bam Adebayo. You got Kevin
Bam
Love.
didn't even play good.
Okay, Bam played decent. And then you have Kevin Love making corner threes. But yeah, let's just 2 words: Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler.
Stop.
That's it.
All right, Tyler, your thoughts on Milwaukee and Miami?
Yeah, and I think Martin plays a key role for Miami too. I don't think a lot
Come
of
back
people
to
talk about
Charlotte.
that, but he definitely has a role on that team. I think Giannis going down obviously is going to affect the series, but the thing is, like, people gotta stop thinking that when you play Jimmy Butler that you have a walk in the park. The dude does not quit in any
Who thinks
game.
that?
Well, everyone who
I guess the Bucks.
I mean, everyone.
Well, I think a lot of people just kind of figured the series was over when Hero got hurt. You know, like, I mean, that's your number 2 option on the team. Like,
right?
I mean,
it just made Jimmy.
We saw how important he was in Game 1. Like, he was important in Game 1. He got hot, and still made a shot after he broke his hand. Like, he is important.
And something that you notice too when you watch Miami is Eric Spoelstra makes such good changes throughout games.
He does.
He does good rotations. He knows when certain guys are on the floor, what kind of substitutions he's gonna make. He has a game plan. Like, even when Jimmy Butler was out, you know, they still won against New York in the very first game. You know, so it's that I love this series because I think this series has 7 games written all over it. I mean, that's just my way of thinking. I think some people think Miami, when Jimmy comes back, they're going to be able to run through it. I think New York's going to make changes too in the series. So I think this is a 7-game series, and this is why it's my favorite one.
It is going to be for sure 7.
But I'm very impressed with Jimmy Butler, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. by it.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Dom?
Yeah, 7 games. I'm very impressed with Julius Randle because it wasn't last year, 2 years ago in the playoffs in the first round, he went out super sad.
True. Good point.
D-Rose balled out as best as he could on
Good point.
half of one knee at the age of however old he is. But yeah, and I always liked Randall. He was the only one. He got away from LA before they got LeBron.
And by the way, Emmanuel Quickley was my 6th man of the year. Just saying.
Oh no, I love him, man. I love Quickley.
That was my 6th man of the year.
I agree. I agree with that one. That was mine too. But you know what?
When
I think
are they
the
announcing it? Soon, I'm guessing.
They already announced it.
Yeah, Brogdon got it.
Yeah, Brogdon got it. For me, though, with New York, I think the difference maker is actually one of the difference makers is Obi Toppin. He has come up in certain games off the bench, like in their win in Game 2, he had 18 points. Now, and Julius Randle obviously is important, but he's your number 2 option. So, like, whenever he went into play Atlanta in that year playoffs. Hold on one second. Let me finish. The number 2 option, like, he was the number 1 option at the time, and it's just not him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great number 2 option. So when they got Brunson, that was just definitely a game changer for them. I wish we could see a little more D Rose, but I definitely want him to stay as healthy as possible. So I understand why Tibb is like, put your jersey on and you're going to hang out on the bench. You know, like, we just don't want to see you get hurt.
He needs to play however long he needs to play to make the Hall of Fame. Otherwise, he would be the only MVP ever to be on the outside looking in. I think by now he's probably in.
Yeah, let's not.
I think people like him so much that no matter what, he'll get voted in. I mean, and this is no knock to my favorite player, but if Ginobili can get in, I feel like Derrick Rose should be able to get in. You know?
Well, Ginobili belongs in though. Like,
but there's a lot of people that don't believe he belongs in because he was 6th man. He was not.
Yeah, like one of the 5 best 6th men ever, and started at time.
Top 2. The only other one that has argument that I listen to really is going to be Jay Crawford. Jamal Crawford. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's the only one. Like for me,
No
Lou
one else
Williams,
even really
it's
comes to
not
mind.
it's not the same to me. Like I don't think Lou Williams, because there's no rings involved, you know? Like now Jamal Crawford was a difference maker, you know, regardless. So
I know some good
to
ones
that half of
didn't
one
have
season he
rings,
played
but...
at U of M.
All right, so let's slide over to Suns Nuggets. So Denver is up 2-0. We're going to Phoenix. Their game is tomorrow at 10 Eastern. Thoughts on this, Tyler? You start us off.
This thing's gonna end in 5.
Oh no!
Yeah, this is gonna end in 5. CP3.
Tyler, ask me what SIT stands for.
It could be a sweep, you know. And I don't use that gentleman sweep bullshit term, as you guys know. But
we
but
know.
But I think the Nuggets end this in 5. I think they're a better team. I've not wavered on that. When this series happened, a lot of people are like, well, the Suns might come out of the West, and they got Kevin Durant, blah, 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 blah. And I just thought to myself, Denver's deep. I'm tired of everyone sleeping on Denver. Denver is deep.
No, you know what it is?
They are deep.
Jamal Murray's healthy.
They're deep.
True that. But also, you know who I forgot was over there and made a great performance the other night coming off the bench is Bruce Brown. Like Bruce Brown has some dog.
And
he is a great defender. He's a difference maker for me.
You know what he is?
Like whenever
he's poor man's Marcus Smart.
Okay, I don't hate it. But when they got rid of Bones Highland, I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? You know what I mean? Like he knows y'all. He's happy to be playing for y'all. Like he's a great role player for y'all. Like why would you move on from him? But then Bruce Brown really stepped up, and I just have been impressed with what he's been doing over there. So I mean, I didn't even know he was there the first part of the season, to be honest. And then the second part of the season, I was like, Bruce Brown's there? Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let Bones Highland go and just pay the dude a veteran minimum, you know? So I don't know that I think I see it in a 4-1 outcome. I think maybe 4-2. I think that even though CP3 isn't there, Campaign is still there. And he is the one that's able to fill into that position for Chris Paul many times. He has stepped into that role in the playoffs when CP3 has been hurt. Now, he didn't do well that first game when CP3 got hurt in the third quarter. I think it's just going to take a little while for him to kind of adjust to be back into that role. And they will get a couple of wins, but I do not see them winning this series. I just see them pushing it to 6. Who's next? Don, you next?
Sure. SIT is Suns in trouble.
Yes.
So wait, Chris Paul's hurt and out, like he's missing games?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're done then.
He has a groin injury.
He's done. They're done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's like those 03 championship Lakers. Like it doesn't matter if Durant and Booker get 60 plus between them. DeAndre Ayton is going to do his usual.
They have he's soft, and then they have no bench anymore because they traded it all to Brooklyn for Kevin Durant. So they have no bench.
And they gave Ayton all that money.
Right.
I forgot that Chris Paul's hurt because, like I said, unless there's a non-disappearing act from Ayton, which will never happen.
And this is CP3's last chance at a championship, in my opinion. Like this is it.
Not getting it there.
No, it's not going to get done. I don't think so. All right, so Warriors Lakers. What do we think?
Just
that's
like
going to
those mid-2000 Suns teams.
You forgot me.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make it short. A healthy Jamal Murray, because Nikola Jokic didn't have him the last year, is a huge difference maker. Bruce Brown's a huge difference maker. I also see it in 6. I just think that Kevin Durant or Booker is going to go off in these 2 games, and they're not going to shut down Jokic, but somehow Jamal Murray will be contained for 1 or 2 games. But yeah, I got Nuggets in 6.
Okay, Jay says Lakers in 7. I do. Now this is a series I think that can go 7. I'll be real. I think that it's going to go the stretch. Now I don't know if I see them getting past Golden State though. A difference maker for them, their X factor is Kevon Looney, because you need the size. You need some. Looney's out
tonight, by the way. He has illness.
I did not know that.
Michael Green's taking
I'm just
his
seeing
place.
the lineups now. JaMychal Green.
That's a problem. When you have somebody that's getting 23 boards a game, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
That's a difference maker. That's a momentum changer right there. You don't need him to score but more than 4 or 5 points. But when you're getting 23 boards in a game, yeah, that's a huge difference maker. So I think it comes down to game 7. I guess it could go either way, really. Dom, start us off on this one.
If Golden State loses this game, I think they're done.
Okay.
I don't see it happening, but if they do, they're done. Because the head writers and Mr. Silver are just trying to push LA to the finals. But good Lord, like if they let them put out Golden State, they better just push them all the way to the finals. Just so we can get some weak-ass Lakers Boston series, even though I don't think Boston can beat the Lakers or Golden State or Denver.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can beat the Lakers. I guarantee it.
Okay, so we'll finish this up on, or Will and Tyler, then y'all finish this up on this series, and then we'll slide over to the Boston series because I have some thoughts on that too.
So I'll go real quick. I agree. It's going 7.
Oh wait, the other thing. One more thing, real quick. If AD keeps playing like this, the Lakers are officially a problem. But go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I've got Golden State. You need, like, Curry's, of course, one of the best players in the league, but you need Clay to have a Clay game. You need Clay, not just to have a. We know he loves his game 6, but we need Clay to have like almost 30 a night and help Steph a lot. Also Wiggins, but that being said, I got the defending champs in 7.
Okay. Tyler?
Yeah. So this series is simple. Can Golden State make 1 trillion threes, or is the Lakers going to eat rebounds? That's
Right.
what this series is going to be. I still think Golden State's going to win this series. I think it'll probably go 7 games. Not really worried about who wins because, like I said, I think Denver's putting out whoever wins this series.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I would love to see them go to the finals. Like, it's time. Jokic, you had 2 back-to-back MVPs. Your entire squad is healthy right now. Like,
yes,
there's no excuse now because everybody's there. So, like, this is it. Also for them, because I think, like, if they don't at least make it to the finals, I think it's time to make some adjustments over there.
Yeah, and I think one thing to add, just to add real quick, is that, like, Looney's out tonight, but Looney's too slow for AD anyway. So
he is.
So to me, the idea with AD is putting multiple rotations on him. That's something Denver can do.
Oh, right.
Would you say
go to their bench and they can grab players off of there?
Put a couple hard fouls on him, and then he'll miss a game or 4.
Tyler, would you say put Draymond on him?
Put who?
Draymond.
Oh, I don't. He's too small, I think, for AD. To be honest, I was talking about Denver. I think with this series, Will, it's just simply can Golden State hit 1 trillion threes, and I think they can. So I think they win in 7.
And Curry just drained.
Well, that sounds about right. So okay, we're gonna slide over to the Boston series, and I'm gonna tell you why, Jay, what I was talking about. So, the series is tied, correct, 1-1. Celtics won last night, 121-87, with Embiid back. Embiid coming off of a MVP award. Now we know that he had some, what was it, knee soreness? Is that why he wasn't playing?
Knee strain
It's the
soreness.
vaginitis.
You said the vaginitis.
Chronic
which and I
vaginitis. How about they gave him the MVP and they were like, we're going to change the rules so you'll never win another one.
Well, I think it was deserved, but I do think that it could have gone either way between Jokic or Embiid. Like either way, I would have been happy. It might have just been one of those cases where they weren't going to allow Jokic to be back to back to back. You know, like I don't know. So, but as far as this series goes, I think this is where we start to see, and this is when we started to see Boston kind of. Okay, so they fell to number 2, obviously, and then they started losing a few games there at the end of the season. It was like, why are they losing these games? To me, that says inexperienced coaching. And even though Ime was a little experienced as a head coach as well, which he had been an assistant, but I think this one that they got in right now, I don't know that he was quite ready for the gig, or if he had the rotations figured out the right way, or if maybe the players don't respect him the same way that Ime commanded respect from them at that moment. Now, that is not to say anything about his off-the-court antics or anything like that. But with Ime, they made it to the finals, correct?
Yep.
So that's my thought. I think their coaching is going to come up short.
In this series?
Could be. If not this series, then Eastern Conference Finals.
Who do you want to go next?
I don't think the Sixers win this series. No. So it's got to be the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't see the Sixers winning this series. They're going to lose, and Harden's going back to Houston.
Ooh.
Yep. It's already in the works.
Who do you want next?
Ime is in Houston. So, yeah, it's in the works. It's already happening.
So, who do you want next, Megan?
I'll jump in.
Oh, you can.
I'll jump in real quick, Will.
Okay.
I think Boston's going to win this series. Actually, I keep saying it, but I think it's going to be the Nuggets and the Celtics in the finals.
Okay.
I think they got surprised in that game 1. Joel, they lose. Harden has one of those games in game 1. The game 2, Boston punches them in the
game
mouth.
1, Harden.
2. Yeah. But that was a feeler out game. We all know game 1s are all feeler out games. I think Boston finally kind of locked themselves in. I think they win this series in 6.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead.
I agree. I think Boston wins in 6. Yeah, Maxi's good. You got Harden, you got Embiid. But you're going against Boston, who has Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You have Al Horford, who's a veteran leader. And don't forget, you have 2 pieces, and you have Marcus Martin, you have Brogdon, but you have one of the most underrated, most non-talked about factors that has been hot recently for Boston.
You better say Derek White. You better say Derek White.
Okay. Derek White, Mr. Derek White. I love Derek White. I think he puts in a lot of work, a lot of hustle, gives heart every day. Yeah, so I got Boston in 6. I think Derek White is so much fun to watch for this Boston team.
He is. All right, Dom, your turn.
So, how many more games will Joel Embiid miss this series, and or how many will he play where he probably shouldn't? But
I'm going to say he's probably going to miss
one. Like I said, I literally was about ready to drive to Philly and fight James because Harden finally had that one good playoff game in a game 1, and then what do I see game 2? They lose by 34. Harden goes 12-10, but guess what? 2-14, 0-6. It's James Harden. It's playoff James Harden, and it's perpetually hobbling Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
I think he wasted all of his energy putting on that outfit for his little
quote Mafi
before the
get
game,
these bums off the fucking court.
It was ridiculous. What the hell was that?
He says, okay, so Jay says that he thinks Golden State keeps Denver from making it to the finals.
They got to beat LA and the script writers first. Like I said, if AD keeps playing like this and he's somewhat healthy.
Okay, well let's do the last series and then we'll move on to college free agency. That's what I'm calling it.
Why are we not doing shots?
All I'm gonna say, just one thing that I'm gonna add to that real quick, because I know Jay's comment and stuff like that. Role players are gonna matter. This isn't gonna be LeBron and AD winning every game, and that's just gonna win every game. Eventually, role players are gonna get caught up to you.
True.
Or they could and get through this series, and then they lose in the conference finals.
Well, that's what I think might happen.
There's true that too. No, I'm not taking shots, Dom, because I have an early day tomorrow. But okay, so let's get to the last series. We got Miami shocked the crap out of everybody, beat Milwaukee. Now they're playing the Knicks. Miami takes game 1 in New York. New York follows up because Jimmy doesn't play. Jimmy gets hurt in the last couple of minutes of game 1, but still finishes the game with an ankle injury, is unable to play game 2. But as we saw, as the time ran out, Jimmy is most definitely playing the rest of this series no matter what happens. So let's talk. What do you think is going to happen with this series, Will?
Real quick, did you guys see Jimmy Butler on the sideline during that game?
Yes.
Game 2, eating popcorn? Died laughing.
Yes. He's so funny.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Butler's the guy, but other pieces are going to have to step up, like Martin and Bam Adebayo and Kevin Love more. But, man, this Knicks team's on a roll. You got Randall, you got Barrett, you got Quickly, you got Brunson. Yeah, give me New York in 6.
In 6.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy. Buns from Booty Call. I'm dead. Jay. Okay. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm always curious, like how Rachel Nichols is feeling during this whole playoff run of Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I love this series. This is my favorite series right now in the playoffs. I think a lot of people think, because Jimmy Butler missed that game, that they're going to come back and Miami's just going to run through New York. I don't see that happening. I think New York's going to hold strong. I think this is going to go 7 games. I've been on the fence.
That's hilarious.
Funny as hell. I've been really on the fence on this series, honestly, and I could definitely be wrong on this one. And as a Bulls fan who has watched my Bulls suffer, it's really nice to see Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler playing each other in a series as well. So I got to add that in. Right. I'm going to pick the Knicks in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins this series, and I'm really enjoying it. This is my favorite series.
I got all the same points. Like I'm gonna go with the Knicks because I feel like the Knicks are deeper. Like you say, role players make a difference, and I think eventually that is gonna make the difference for New York. But if Miami is able to figure it out, I still wouldn't be surprised. I'd just be like, okay, well, Jimmy's there. Now I am super sad to see Oladipo go out like he did. Just hate it for him. He's such a nice guy.
I wonder if he's gonna retire. I wonder if he's gonna think about retiring.
I don't know. I don't want to put that out there because like one of my friends is actually his massage therapist, and she has like a really great business, and she works for the National Scouting Combine as well, and she's actually the massage therapist for the Jets as well. So
I like Oladipo.
I just hope that he's able to come back. And when I saw that everybody came in with Oladipo shirts, I was like, oh, the series is over. Like Miami's winning, and sure enough, that's what happened. So I don't know that I see that
interference,
but just because I'm such a Tibb fan, I am. Like I love defensive teams, and when he got Cam Reddish the hell out of there, I fucking loved it. Like I like defensive players, and you're not hitting the court. You're not getting any minutes if you don't play defense for Tibbs. So I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, no, you ain't sniffing. Yeah.
Dom, go ahead.
Yeah, all the same shit that you and Tyler said.
Okay.
7 games. It could go either way. I don't, like you said, New York is too deep for Miami. Like, no Tyler Hero. Like, it's not the Bucks. And
can Hero come back if they would make the finals?
Huh?
If they make it to the finals, can he come back?
Can he come back?
His injury?
Fractured hand. He fractured his hand.
But they how long did they say it was? Didn't they say 4 to 6 weeks?
Did they say 4 to 6 or 2 to 4? If they said 2 to 4, then yeah, he can.
That's okay. Be great if he came back and beat the Lakers.
It's a shooting
in the finals.
It is a shooting
rematch of the bubble.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let's get it.
That would be great.
Okay, so let's root for Miami if that's
Katie's vaginitis is ready to flare up any minute now.
It's hilarious. So let's talk college free agency. I gotta say, one of my favorite moves, and I'm sure y'all know which way I'm going with this, is Haley Van Lith. I love her. I love it. I love it. But I'm not just gonna talk about that. I think that's an obvious one. I want to talk about the young lady that went to South Carolina from Oregon. Now it's the Polynesian young lady. And I'm not exactly sure how to say her name, but she came from Oregon. I think that is a huge pickup for South Carolina. That is going to make a huge difference for them. Now they lost 3 players in the draft. So there are going to be some holes there. And they were in the running for Haley Van Lith, and it just didn't work out. And I'm not surprised. Like, I know a lot of people had her going to Iowa. I didn't see it. She was not going to go join the enemy, so to speak, when Iowa is the one that put him out most recently, and her and Caitlin had that exchange. I just don't see Haley Van Lith doing it, and she ends up going to LSU. That's kind of where I figured, but I don't count out South Carolina yet. Like, there's still going to be a couple moves over there. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Yeah, okay. I'm going with the obvious one. It's Haley Van Lith going to LSU. You know what? It's great because I think LSU definitely could. There's a chance LSU could go back to back. I think it's possible.
Hear me now?
I'm not going to guarantee.
Is he?
I'm not going to guarantee it right away because nothing's guaranteed. UConn's going to be better. South Carolina's going to be back. We all know they are. I think LSU's going to be really good again because you got Angel Reese, got Haley Van Lith, and then you're coached by Kim Mulkey. Yes, I like Kim Mulkey, but I don't like her antics about yelling at the ref all the time. We've talked about it in the show.
Well, you can't forget Flo J.
Flo J, yeah, exactly. But I think it adds another dimension to this LSU offense and it makes them really scary.
Okay.
Kim aged like Milky. Kim Milky? Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that was the big one. I am intrigued for next season to see like the Caitlin Clark like revenge tour because I think that's going to come into play.
What about my girl? She has a revenge tour too.
UConn has.
But just to jump,
but
just to jump and add a men one to this too. I think the Dickinson transfer to Kansas is actually a pretty big
that's
one.
Huge. Yeah, no, that's huge. Like we saw how important Coach Self is to the team. He wasn't there. They get knocked out early. Like that, having that a patriarch type of coach that he is there was that big of a difference of him not being there. So that's huge for Kansas. I see them being able to, we saw one of our homeboys in all sports Walter called the Big 12. He called them the Big 15. So I think the Big 15 is going to be pretty solid. Kansas is going to be at the top again, but I do think K-State's going to be pretty good also still. Like, I think they're going to continue to build off of what they did this year.
Really well coached.
They are really well coached. And I actually know their assistant coach. So hopefully we can get him on one of the shows pretty soon. But
that'd be dope.
I think Texas Tech is going to be interesting too, because they went and picked up the University of North Texas coach, the big mean green. He is a very good coach. Now, I know UNT is not on the same level as, say, the Big 12 teams, but they made some tournament noise over the last few seasons. So I think it was a great pickup for Texas Tech. We'll see what they do as far as recruiting. Dom?
Yeah, that Hunter Dickinson transfer killed me. But hopefully, unless Jawan wins 20 games and at least 1, maybe 2 games in the tournament, like, he's done. So Dickinson transferring is probably the nail in the coffin. Like, they got Caleb Love, and I'm like, like, I got excited about it first, and then I'm like, for one, like, I like Caleb Love, but I don't love him. Also, like, that's so traitorish. Like, who transfers from North Carolina to Michigan?
Right. Well, as we know, I don't know if you know the story behind everything that was going on, but apparently it was, their personal lives that came into the drama at UNC. Like, apparently Caleb and somebody else, they were dating the same chick, and so the chemistry on the court, it boiled over there. So
end of the day, like, that's a Caleb Love, like, long-term UNC underachiever coming to Michigan. So it's flip-flop of right now to the 90s with the Fab Five. Underachievers.
Well, I think that's gonna.
I still can't believe they're preseason #1 and didn't even make the tournament. But go on.
Right.
Don't remind me. I'm hurting still.
I think that does it for us. We appreciate everybody that watched and comment and shared the show. Sage, I saw you shared it on Twitter. Soon. I really appreciate that. Tyler, we love that you came on. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
And Everly as well. So we're going to head out. Good night, y'all.
Spay and neuter your pet.